We talk about Joe Budden's podcast and all of his co-hosts, both on and off the pod, in this episode of JBP Elevated, which features Yo Buddy Elevation. Nope, not at all. No, not at all. No, not at all. I've seen enough. I had had enough. It took just 7 minutes. I didn't understand the value that Flip adds to the JVP until the first 7 minutes. And if they don't see my point of view, everyone will keep debating with me. And that's okay. I adore the conversation that takes place in the comments section. I adore all of you. Before I start spilling though, let's be clear. Yesterday, I posted a survey on YouTube. A shout out to all of you. You will be conducting polls. I adore all of you. The reason Joe divided their days is the answer to my question about who would be a better match for the JBP. With well over 1,000 votes, it was 52% Mona and 48% Flip. That indicates to me that each of them contributes a unique dynamic and audience to the play. And since I discussed the several reasons Patreon didn't launch yesterday, here's another that I noticed in the comments, and it makes a lot of sense. This past weekend was Shay's birthday. On the video I released yesterday, the majority of you said that. Over the weekend was Shay's birthday. Joe was unable to pod at night since he took her out to celebrate. It also makes logic. However, how many previous times has Joe quit the podcast and they have carried on? And who was in charge of the performance? To be clear, Mark Lamont Hill was present, and everyone, including myself, said that like Flip, he might be an A after Joe was gone. However, he was given the opportunity but failed to act. In the first 7 minutes, Flip demonstrated his significance. He posted a BTS episode, and we were all discussing where the Monday drop on the BTS episode is. So we were all irritated and let it be known in the Patreon comments. In the poll, please let me know Joe's decision and Flip's intensity conveyed to me the significance of both Mona and Flip. You have enough energy to get things done on your own, so there's no need for you two to argue, because they may have gotten into a fight. However, Joe didn't split them up just because of that fight, even if it was a big matter. As a result, he didn't even want anything to fester. Mona most likely didn't even request a separation. She just said, "I'm gonna have to deal with this and figure out how to fit in."
"Nope," Joe replied. "Let me take care of this right away. Each of you contributes a unique dimension to the presentation. I may have you on different days because you each have your own audiences. Flip frequently claims I'm getting paid the same, and there's a reason for this. He didn't deduct money from my wages. He doesn't only pay me for each episode. He is compensating me as though I had continued to appear for 2 episodes. Additionally, the silence is allowing Flip and Mona to regain their breath, because you feel like you have to have it on all the time when you have this kind of personality, and that's what you're known for. And your co-host may find that, I don't want to use the word, annoying. However, your dynamic is required. In addition to not having a pod, let's be clear that if they had had one without Joe, Flip, and, well, Mona, they wouldn't have known how to manage Mona, and they didn't want to deal with that. Therefore, if I were Mona, my perspective on that would be very different in the future. They didn't think they could entice you. However, you are aware of your significance, Flip, and although Joe condemned being demoted, there's a reason why he did so. He is aware what they do to his pod. To be explicit, let's suppose that Flip and Mona got into a heated argument and both of them had to skip time. Without either of them, how do you think this show would be? It's already terrible that he lost his eye candy in Mel, and he's upset because he thought the verbal dynamic she would provide would elevate her to the top of his hierarchy. In addition to your beauty, you have the ability to manipulate the audience, the stories, and more. But Flip immediately returned to being his top priority, since in his opinion, she didn't bring that to the table. Not even the audience that was following Melissa, but he now has someone who might have the same dynamic and attract the female audience or base. She must be my top priority. Let's be honest though, I've received a lot of credit for being present in every episode, whether I had to or not, as if that were the crown treasure. But let's go back to the time that Philip claimed to get paid the same amount even though he didn't show up.
Take a look at Isha's face.
that is detrimental to them. Y'all don't bring enough to the table dynamically, Joe is essentially telling them. You don't bring what Flip does on a dynamic level, not as individuals or as members of the pod. What Mark brings, you guys don't. You don't have what Morona has, to the extent that if you were only present 1 day a week, people would miss you. So yeah, you have to be here every day of the week in order to get paid, each and every day. And I keep saying that Ice was chosen to perform on Thursdays. With the same contract, he got Ice to perform on Thursdays. Let's be clear, I'm simply speculating. Early in the episode, Flip's existence was revealed. He gives it a boost. However, I can relate to what everyone else is saying. He remains silent. He is merely taking advantage of Joe. Hey, why not make an additional laugh track out of every joke that is told? However, please share your thoughts with me in the comments section. I might be bothering you. I feel like I demonstrate my devotion for Flip, especially his dynamic on the pod, even though I know I get on Flip's case the most. For a moment, I was a supporter of his, so it is beginning to make sense to comprehend what Joe is doing in this context. I simply wanted to talk about it. However, since you've told me in the polls, please let me know what you think in the comments. As much as people talk about Flip, they also let it know that we still have a lot of fun with it. With Flip, we still rock. However, please share your thoughts with me in the comments, dude. If you enjoy the video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe to the page. You already know how awesome we are. If you have, go ahead and watch the Patreon, everyone. Hey guys, I have to salute you all. This 24-hour free video drop appears to be effective. I see that you're still substituting. There are even some haters and detractors over there. I also salute you all. You also receive responses. We're strengthening the community, I guess. I am grateful for all of your support so far. However, I'll see you all later today. Tranquility.